The Dungeon Master's Guide. Huh. This could be content. Have you been wanting to DM? Hello everybody and welcome aboard this thing. I'm gonna be calling it Module Manual. That's what I'm gonna be calling it. I definitely did not just come up with that. This is going to be something where, first of all, I'm actually going to be explaining you my own module. It's going to be a very, very short one called Byzantium. I mentioned it recently in another video. I'm going to be explaining levels 1 through 5 adventure that is run inside this content. It's my own homebrew world, so I'll be posting descriptions of everything I'm actually saying so you have something to reference back on and you don't have to double check on this video every single time. But it also means that I have a little bit more leeway in terms of what's going on. But I'm open to doing this with other modules that you may be interested in. I will be giving them a quick rundown, what the main players are, what the themes are, what the things are about, and this is just to help and encourage you to go and DM. First things to address, the Dungeon Master's Guide. Common misnomer, this is not it's a rule book, but it's not the rule book. You can't actually learn Dungeons and Dragons by playing this, and reading this back to front will not necessarily make you a good dungeon master. I know that it definitely did not make me one. I do advise that you read some of it, and it has a lot of great information, especially the tables in here are great, but you don't need to read it back to front in order to be a dungeon master. Honestly, the real trial, like everything in life, is just practice constantly, and that is your way of doing things. But with that foreword out of the way, let's get on to discussing Byzantium. So when I plan campaigns, I usually set it around either a world or an aesthetic that I really have something going for, similar to the way that I make characters. So let's read. The start off. Byzantium. The city floats through space. 1,000 worlds overlap in this single spot. Tens of thousands of years ago, a powerful wizard broke the walls between realms, and now a sphere of magical encloses an overlapping space in which no one can leave and no one can get in. The space is that of Byzantium, a megacity encompassing 1,000 different biomes, 1,000 different races, magics, knowledge, and history. It is surrounded by a thick fog called the Mist of Memory, and if you were to go into it, you would lose who you are. That's the basic premise of what the world looks like. And now, when I was designing this world, the aesthetic that I was going for was like overgrown modern-day cities mixed with those like super tall skyscrapers, like all of this stuff over here. None of this artwork is mine, I should preface this. I am going to put down every single artist link that I can. Please go check them out. They are all incredible, just so wonderful. So the level 1 through 5 module of Byzantium focuses around the government structure of the city, because the city is controlled by two different powers. The first power is the official one. The ruler Ringar is a bronze dragon who sits upon the throne, and mostly he just really likes human culture. He enjoys looking at lots of different things and exploring all of the different aspects of the world and lots of knowledge. Really doesn't particularly like the bureaucracy that has become his life. The banks, the guard, all of the bureaucracy and any other thing that you may need from the official government, i.e., usual things that you get from government like good healthcare, America, come from him. The other half of the supporting power of the city comes from the guild. Now, the guilds in Byzantium function more like churches in all regular D&D games, because when Byzantium was formed, there were no gods encompassed in it. Rather, there are 17 master spirits who are the most powerful spirits around. They've either gained power through lots of worship or just through enough supporters, or they had come across it through their own hard work. There is many different reasons for why one would become what is known as a spirit. This means that if you're a cleric, paladin, druid, or ranger, often your powers actually come from which guild that you're a part of, rather than from a particular god. And I'm going to be putting up all of the pictures that inspired me for each of these things. I'm just going to be cycling off their names and a quick description of each. First off is the Golden Crest, ruled by the Flame Laden. This is a group of knights that aim to protect the city and dole out justice wherever they can. There is Mist and Shield, ruled by the Red Lady. Similar to the Golden Crest, they operate on an idea of bringing justice to the city. However, they're much more flexible on the idea of morality, and will often do things in order just to keep the peace. They're a fan of vigilante justice, art, and their main purpose is to secure the systems that exist within the city. Blackleaf, led by Ravensleaf, that was hard to say, is a guild that is devoted just to adventuring. They are the youngest of the guilds, and they are looking just to explore the many universes that are trapped within Byzantium. Because Byzantium is so massive, it isn't all explored, and it's a honeycomb where you can go inside the planet. A lot of the guilds therefore spend their time exploring these honeycomb labyrinths and trying to explore all of the different worlds that are encompassed inside it. Guilds such as the Crow Agency and Gears and Logs specialize in information gathering. They're often classified as the librarian guilds because they carry a lot of spellcasters and usually look to history and are trying to work out why and how the Byzantium works in the way it does. Meanwhile, Trident and Dragonlung both specialize in monster hunting and adventuring. These guilds will hunt purposefully large game that just wander through the city at any given time. This means that they have a lot of specialist hunting activities that they take place in, and if you're looking to have a campaign that settles around hunting massive monsters and exploring unknown worlds, they're a great guild to go with if you want to run that sort of a campaign. Now, there are 17 guilds, so I'm not going to be able to describe them all here, otherwise that would be the entire video. I might do that later if you guys want it. However, I will link a document in the description which you can get every single guild, including a description of the guild master, their pictures, and any other useful information that will help you build something around them. On to the part of the video where we talk about how you build a level 1 through 5 module out of this. Rather than going to a guild and just saying, hey, I want to be a part of you, you can't quite do that in Byzantium. Once a year, there is a massive festival in which there is a tournament arc. A tournament arc that allows you to apply to be a member of any of the guilds. This works by having 5 activities, and each activity, once completed, would serve as a single level up for the party. The tournament arc itself lasts a whole month. This way, you're able to put in the flair of time passing, getting the characters to get to know each other. Long rests are important for character development. It also allows you to introduce a lot of opponents within the tournament arc and get a sort of friendly rivalry going between the party and other people. Or a not so friendly rivalry, up to you. So the tournament includes a bunch of different things that you're able to choose at your will about what you want. For me, I think a good selection is 1 dungeon crawl / race, a monster attack in which they have to take down a really large monster by working as a team. Don't necessarily have to kill it. 2 puzzle challenges, because honestly puzzles are underrated, and a scavenger hunt. For the puzzle challenges, I recommend just grabbing a few like basic riddles, some puzzles like that you find on the back of kids' mats. You'd be surprised at how many people can't do those, and how long it takes. As for the scavenger hunt, they'll be asked to find 1 item or a selection of items before a certain time limit. Whether they work as a group is up to them. However, this is D&D, so it's probably encouraged that they should. In order to qualify to be part of a guild, they have to pass 3 of these trials. Hopefully they pass all 5, but in terms of story work, pass 3. At which point they are able to choose which guild they want to be a part of permanently. Now, after this point, there is no requirement the party has to stick together and go to the same guild. They can go to multiple guilds and still work together, as cross-guild work is very common in Byzantium, seeing as you need a range of skills on a lot of activities, because sometimes you need a monster hunter and a librarian in the same party, and you can't get that by going to one single guild. Now, it's important to note that during this tournament arc, players that get their powers from a different entity, i.e. paladins, clerics, and warlocks, and to an extent, druids and rangers, will be getting temporary powers from a guild. Now, of course, this means that technically they could change subclasses at level 5, and I actually think that this is a really important point. Sometimes, especially if you're a new player and you're a new DM, it's good to give them that little bit of flexibility at level 5 where they've played for a little bit of time, and if they want to try something new, you give them that choice, but if they still like their character, they can just change the subclass, and that will be okay. But that will do it for today. It's a bit of a short, ramshackle explanation, and I will include a document which has a more detailed version, hopefully, that I can get that typed up in time. If it's not typed up by the time this video goes out, it will be in like a week or 2, I don't know. Words are hard, and I've been talking for a really long time, and now I just want to sleep. But I hope that you enjoyed that, and I hope that you guys will have some good adventures in Byzantium. I hope to hear about all of your adventures, but until then, I have been Locke and Doodle Fox, this has been a show, and I will see you all next time. Until then, keep sailing, everyone.